I think that some people are looking after our environment and some people aren't.
We're not taking that great care of it, us humans, we don't really care about it that much.
I think that some people aren't looking after our environment. I think things like deforestation, commercial fishing is not beneficial for our environment at all, and that can lead to other impacts on animals and stuff.
I think especially ocean life needs to be protected, especially in New Zealand.
I reckon we could be doing more environmentally friendly practices. There's lots of construction and farming and stuff done that is done very unhealthily to the environment. Lots of it takes up fossil fuels and it's just very bad for our climate.
Yeah, I think it is real because just look at the news and that, we've been having all these one in a century floods happening every few years. So I think it's definitely real.
I do think climate change is real. There is quite a lot of evidence to back that up, and also if you check NASA's records, they can see a noticeable jump in temperatures.
I think that climate change is real. I think that some of the instances that's really blown out of proportion, but it is real and it's slowly creeping up on us.
I think it's real because my generation, we're living in it. We're here. We're watching all the bad stuff that's happening. We're living through all the climate events that are happening around the world that are being caused by climate change.
I think it's mostly natural, but you never know, it might be a bit human-made, but I don't really know.
Global warming, deforestation, using fossil fuels and greenhouse gases and everything.
I think the main cause of climate change is definitely man-made, again with deforestation, commercial fishing, other extracting things from the environment is definitely impacting it.
I think that climate change is caused by humans because of how civilization was built and how things were introduced to our ecosystem, and some of the stuff was just never meant to be found by mankind, and it has, and now it's affecting us negatively.
Melting glaciers, which causes the sea levels to rise, which can cause flooding in coastal communities, which can ultimately cause people to leave their homes.
The continuous rise in temperature can lead to lots of things like drought, plants not being able to grow anymore because of the heat, just humankind not being able to adapt to the heat and their bodies not being able to function.
I think if the temperature keeps rising, I think that means other animals and species and plants won't be here, and that will be impactful for our environment because some things won't be able to keep living.
I think climate change is having a big impact on the ocean because obviously things are getting hotter. More species could be dying from the hotter temperatures and they don't have their normal environment around them.
I think the impact of heat waves and stuff, it'll completely change how we live. Just general day life will change. What we eat might change because in the winter it'll start getting hotter. It'll take us away from specific foods, and then I think it'll change just general life, all of it.
I think it does worry me because I think that our environment should stay as it is and it shouldn't degrade over time.
So sometimes if I get caught up in it too much, when I'm actively learning about it, it does cause me some anxiety.
We're still worried about it, but not terribly worried about it.
It definitely worries me what is happening, but then sometimes you forget about it and just go back to living. But when it happens, It's definitely real.
I would say news-related stuff about climate change doesn't exactly cause me anxiety because I try to not exactly take it all in. Just mentally, it's not something I try to focus too much on, rather focus on what I can do personally to improve it instead of exactly focusing on the negative.
I think we could lower carbon emissions by just swapping to alternatives whenever we can.
I think we could be using more renewable energy, so wind turbines, solar panels, and hydro mechanics and stuff like that to produce power instead of burning fossil fuels and coal and everything like that.
In New Zealand, there's a lot of water everywhere that we can be using. There's a lot of rivers that we can be using, and there's a lot of roofs that don't have solar panels on them.
I reckon solar energy is a great option and it should be more implemented, but then it's just financially not always the greatest option because it costs so much, and then the whole process of making solar panels and stuff is just affecting the environment negatively as well. I think as a country to reduce carbon emissions would be just each company really looking at what they're doing and if they can change their practice to be more efficient. But for them to do that, the government would have to really help out and create opportunities for them to be able to afford new changes.
I think that we should just kind of use social media in the way that we can reach out to like larger communities, because sometimes if it's just like on the news, mainly like older people will only look at that. So kids that like my age will use social media more, so it will get to them as well.
You don't always know what's happening around the world, and I don't think a lot of information is given out. So if you tell people what's happening or how and why, you can help to prevent climate change.
Don't cheap out on measures to save the environment, since it will cause lasting effects for decades.
If I were giving advice to politicians, I would say protect what we have now instead of trying to build what we could have. Protect what we have now so that it's still there, and then we can start building.
I think specifically for like the government, it could be telling them through social media like to put in place laws to help with the impact of climate change. And also I think social media would also like using that to older generations just to like let them know on what is going on and what the impacts of that could be.
I would say if to tell the government that things they need to do better would be to really ask the wider community of what they see climate change is, and really, and not scaring us, but telling us how we could make a difference, because fear doesn't always create change, it just creates chaos. So just really implementing a how and a why and what we can do instead of making fear.
So what I want to do when I leave school, I'd actually like to be a professional downhill mountain biker. It depends like what path I would want to take. Like there's so many paths out there and roads that I could go down, so I'm still like exploring my options too there.
Not sure if I'd really want to like delve into the realm of helping out with the environment and dedicating my career to that. I'm not sure if I'll be willing to do that.
In the future, I would like to do something in the snow, but of course, if we keep doing what we're doing, there won't be any snow left on the mountains.
Well, the career path that I wanted to take is kind of like design, but I think I could use that in the sense to create things to help impact climate change, and just use that to, I don't know, help the environment in a way by designing things that could be useful.
I'm really intrigued with marine biology. I think that's really amazing and it's very interesting.
If I were choosing a career path right now, I'm not too sure, but I would like to follow like environmental science, and I think just living how we live at the moment, living through climate change will help me with that, looking at the effects.
I would definitely say my career path in the future can help the environment, especially if I want to become a food technologist and implementing eco-packaging and just fixing the chemicals and stuff that food gets put into, and then just really changing the whole outlook on food.